The final production of our 2017 season is an opera by Mozart, which is lesser known but is transcendently beautiful. His La Clemenza di Tito, about the Roman Emperor Titus, which is what we're calling it. People always wonder how we choose operas for our seasons, and this time it's kind of a special story. This will be the 25th anniversary for Stephen Lord as music director of Opera Theatre of St. Louis, and it's also his final season as music director before he gets elevated to music director emeritus next season. So I asked Stephen, of all the operas in the world to conduct for his final season as music director, which would he like to do? And he said without hesitation, he'd like to do Mozart's La Clemenza di Tito. And Stephen chose this opera in part because he knew he could pull together a truly first-class cast of artists who have had early successes with him at Opera Theatre of St. Louis before going on to stardom internationally. And that's exactly what we've done. Now, I think I love this opera so much because it's an example of how Mozart was not just perhaps the greatest musical genius in the history of the world, but also a great thinker of the Enlightenment, that period in the 18th century where the world changed completely, and philosophers gave us these ideals of human rights that have changed everything since. In fact, the United States Constitution was 2 years old when, in 1791, Mozart wrote this opera, which he wrote for the occasion of a royal coronation. And in a way, it's Mozart's heartfelt dream of a ruler who prioritizes the idea of forgiveness over revenge and restraint over the show of force. The story is that of a spurned princess who convinces her lover to kill his best friend, who happens to be the Roman Emperor Titus. The emperor survives, and when he hears the princess confess, he is so moved that he decides to forgive. The title role of Titus will be sung by tenor René Barbera, who triumphed at Opera Theatre in The Elixir of Love and The Daughter of the Regiment before going on to become an international star. And since then, he's been singing leading roles in Paris, Chicago, San Francisco, and he just recently, this past October, made his Metropolitan Opera debut, singing Lindoro in L'Italiana in Algeri. The role of Vitalia, the power-hungry princess, will be sung by Laura Wilde, who was a former Jardine Young Artist at Opera Theatre before going on to be a regular at the Lyric Opera of Chicago, and then going on recently to bring the house down in London at the Royal Opera House in the title role of Yennefer. Then we have Cecilia Hall, one of the best young mezzo-sopranos today, who also began as a Jardine Young Artist at Opera Theatre before going on to sing roles all over the country and the world. Titus, La Clemenza di Tito, comes from the last year of Mozart's much too short life, and it's a gift from one of the greatest musical and dramatic minds in human history, a gift from a revolutionary time in history that speaks powerfully to us today of the power of forgiveness.